genuine, like, you know. So, I've got a celebrity, hey, joining my little channel. Ahmadi Fact Check. Bashir is your name, is that right?
Yes, sir. Bashir Ahmed Shah.
Okay, cool. Amir, thank you for bringing him online.
No
Um,
problem.
so, Amir, I think we kind of got in contact a few months. It's good to get like a bit of an intro, what's happening here. So, I don't know, did you message me or something? I can't remember how you got in
Yeah,
contact with me quite a while
thank
ago.
you on YouTube. Yeah,
Yeah, so we got in contact, and I'm always up for people having a nice discussion, intellectual discussion.
of
Um,
course.
and that's it, really. And part of that quick intro before we get started, because I don't like long, boring intros, but I think from the Quran, how we should behave, I think that's often lacking a lot in Speaker's Corner where I used to be. Now I've moved to the Middle East, hence my fancy clothes, very hot weather. Um, so I'm in Jordan now. So let me do a quick intro. Let me share a screen as well, I suppose. Maybe that would be helpful. So slide, where is it? Share screen and that tab, share. Let me see. Is it showing the right stuff? It is. It's a bit tiny, actually. It's not very good. All right. You know what? I'll just quickly read it because it looks tiny. So, or is it readable, Bashir? Well, Amir, can you read that on the screen? It's too
Yes.
tiny, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not very good. Leave it, leave it. I'll just read it off. You know what? I don't want
Put
to
it,
make it
put it,
long.
put it back on, please. Put it back on a second.
Yeah, sure. Okay. It's just a few ideas that I wanted to talk about, plus an intro as to how Muslims should behave so that we have a good conversation. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Can you bring up that ayah again that you had on before?
I've got it on the list. You mean from the discussion we had a while ago?
No, the first slide that you put on the Arabic.
Okay, so this is what I've got. I don't know
This
anything else.
is the first one that you come up with. The first one,
What do you mean, like
the
this
one,
one?
the one that said the ayah in Arabic.
Oh, you mean this?
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
do
yeah,
you want to
yeah.
start
We'll
from there?
come to. No, no. I want to start just about three quick things about how we should behave because sometimes, often, I feel like we are not getting the best out of our conversations when we're not following Islam as well as we could. Not necessarily you guys, but a lot of the conversations I've had at Speaker's Corner and a lot of the comments. So let me just whiz through this stuff, right? Okay, so first of all, in the Quran it says, "We have sent you, Muhammad, not except as a mercy for the whole world."
Khalid,
So why am I bringing
just
that? It's just that we need to have
Khalid,
love for everybody.
just
Sorry,
one
go on.
second. Are you able to read in Arabic as well, please?
I can. I haven't got it. Let me see if I've got it linked. Yeah, I've got it here. But I mean, what's the difference? I want to whiz through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you
So
carry
do
on.
you
But
like
just
dispute that or something? I
no,
mean,
just my
chapter.
my 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 point is the Quran
Yeah.
is in Arabic, not in English.
Yeah, sure,
And
sure, sure.
I think if
I
we're
kind
not
of don't
talking
want to
about
get too technical. But if we're disputing certain Arabic words, then it's worth it.
no, it's not. I
Otherwise,
don't. No, that's not my point. I think Bashir would agree with me in the audience as well that if you are going to display something, you should be able to understand it in Arabic before you
okay,
display
that's a
it. But
claim that like it has to be this or it has to be that. I just want to get on with the conversation I wanted to have was
okay,
it's
carry on,
very
carry on, carry on.
casual. You
Okay,
know,
carry on. Yes,
you
no,
might have
no,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't mean no offense, by the way, Khalid. I don't mean no
Sure,
offense at
sure.
all.
No, no, no. It's like, you know what? You're going to have certain rules about what you think should be. This is what I meant by casual. I might have certain ideas about what's important, whatever. And we just go with the flow, whatever
Yeah,
you
no
do,
worries,
whatever you
no
think is
worries.
important, right?
But
My point that I just wanted to make
yeah,
it was when we have a discussion, there's a lot of hate, and people think that it's okay to be hateful to other people, where and if you want to go to the Arabic, we can. Okay, if you want to dispute this particular point, like people, like we should have love for everybody, even if we don't agree with them. I mean, does anybody dispute that? I mean, you can talk about
I
it briefly.
I I don't disagree with you, and I think Bashir will back me up when I say
What do you
this.
think,
But this
Bashir?
is
You're all right with that?
we don't hate no one at all, as well. However,
Fantastic. Yeah.
however, it's important that we completely put Islam on one side and Qadiani on one side because you can't mix the two.
Sure. I mean, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So,
Okay.
so cool. Okay, cool. And then, and also when we talk, it says,
Brother Holland,
yes,
I just want to say, I guess the brother is bringing it up because there's Ahmadis online who have told people if you can't read Urdu, you can't understand Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. If you can't read Arabic, you don't know nothing about the Quran. And we've refuted them on the Urdu part because there's Africans who and Indonesians, 99, even in America and the UK, the young generation can't read Urdu. It doesn't mean they can't pick up an English translation of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad's book and figure out what he's talking about. So that's the only
yeah.
reason that was brought up, and let's move on.
Sure, yeah, sure, exactly. I do understand there might be some reasons behind it, like, oh, you have to know the Arabic this way and that way, and it's good to know it. Yeah, it's important. Okay, when we're just discussing a particular word or something. Anyway, so, but speak to him in a gentle speech, happily he might heed or fear. Right, this is just advice, I think, to Moses, but of course, it's in the Quran's for everybody. So when we speak gently, we're more likely to listen. The person you're talking to more likely to listen. And one more verse, I won't go on about it. And it is by the great mercy of Allah that thou or you have, you are kind towards them. If you had been rough and hard-hearted, they would have surely dispersed from around you. The Quran, chapter 3, verse 159. I think that's the right reference because, you know, as Ahmadi Muslims, we always consider Bismillah as the first verse. I can't remember if I added or took away a verse reference. But anyway, I doubt there's any disagreement about that kind of thing. So anyway, let's... Shall I bring up one verse? And I did say to Amr, I want to keep it super simple. Ideally, we stick to the Quran. And but what I didn't explain, because I don't think it's worth explaining, it's like, I'm not here to 100% convince you. I'm just going to be like, here's what I think, because all my ideas, whenever I debate anybody or discuss anybody with anybody, it's like, here's what I think. This is my duty as a Muslim. This is what I'm going to do. You share what you think, and then let the audience decide whatever. So I'm not going to be too much back and forth about if you agree or disagree. It's just hopefully a healthy discussion. So just to start off, we've got this. If people haven't read the title of this video, it's about who decides if Ahmadis or Qadianis are Muslim or not. And I think a pertinent verse would be, O ye who believe, when you go forward in the cause of Allah, make proper investigation and say not to anyone who greets you with the greeting of peace, you are not a believer. And then you seek, so the key point I'm trying to make here is that the Quran says no Muslim is in a position to call anybody else, or no person, whether they're Muslim or not, is in a position to call anybody else a disbeliever or not Muslim. I don't want to go on about it. We can go to the details of the Quranic verses, which, by the way, I'm using Quran.com, which is not an Ahmadi website, so we can always refer to that. But I want to stop talking, guys. I want to hear what you've got to say. You know, who wants to say something?
I think I'll let Bashir have a chat. Go for it, Bashir.
Sure. Yeah. So brother, first off, I don't care about the viewers. I'm not here for any viewers. Cool. I'm not here for any views. I don't care if the people figure something out. I'm here to explain to you the truth.
Sure.
Okay. And you didn't give your qualifications. That's all right.
I've got no qualifications. Yeah.
So that could be an issue. If I'm talking to someone look, I have a doctorate. I don't tell people, hey, you have to have a doctorate to speak to me. I don't. Of course, I've created this blog, and I've collected and written information about Ahmadiyya. And I see people who don't have even the basic information, even in English. And it's like, so for example, you posted a verse about Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam being Rahmatul Alameen, right? And I can read the verse slowly for you. It's Wama arsalnaka illa rahmatul alameen.
Okay.
Right? So okay, we didn't even discuss that. You know, remember Mirza Ghulam Ahmad claimed that for himself. Okay, this is in the Brahini Ahmadiyya. All right, so we're still waiting for Ahmadis to tell us what he meant by all of this. You know, why is he claiming? And brother, I posted the reference. Feel free to.
I don't know where you posted it. Where did you post this
Oh,
thing?
it's in like the
I mean,
live
I
chat.
don't. Oh,
Here.
I see. Sure. Okay. If you
Here.
Where are
Here,
you?
I'll post it in the private chat too.
Oh.
So brother, again, how discussions work. It's not I show up and I show you some reference you've never seen before. If you want to have an intelligent discussion with me, send me something ahead of time.
Who are you in the live chat? It didn't even say your name in the live chat. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, no mind.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
see eventually.
No, I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
uh,
Ahmadi fact check. You've come up now. Yeah. So what is this reference for? It's Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said something. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
We'll check it out later on. But anyway, just keep it simple.
Yeah,
I kind of want to stick to the Quran and how we rather than, I feel like that's a bit of a sidetrack. I kind of want to, like, for example, I just quoted the Holy Quran. What have you got to say about the first of the Quran?
Yes, brother, but the issue with that is we totally disagree on the Quran. So how can we stick to the Quran when every verse you bring, you have sorry to say, a different or deviant interpretation based on what Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said. So when you say that to us, that's the weirdest thing, brother. Like you change the meanings of almost every single verse in your way. So that's and you guys keep saying that.
That's why I'm going to the non-Ahmadi Muslim website, Quran.com. So we can go look at that. So if you just why don't we look at that?
But you should be presenting what Mirza Ghulam Ahmad wrote on any particular verse. Not, hey, let's just move him out of the way, brother. If you really do this the right way, but I sometimes feel like you don't care to do this the right way. You're like, let the viewers decide. Well, I don't care about any of that. I don't care what someone's impression is or any of that. I'm bringing the facts of the case, right? And that's what's important, brother. So
sure. So I mean,
can I just?
I don't want Amir. Yeah, I was going to say, Amir, you have your say as well. You're not just a third wheel or anything. It's fair.
Okay, no problem. Like you said, this is a just a friendly chat, but I think it's very, very important that the audience or anybody who watches this video is the first thing that you look at is the root of Qadianism, and that's Mirza Ghulam himself. You have to study his character. You have to study what he done, the things he wrote. Then you can decide if the Quran is a good fit, etc., etc. That's more important. Are you prepared to discuss character of Mirza Ghulam?
No, I don't think it's relevant. Because, for example, let's just. I mean, you asked me a question. I can answer it very briefly.
Yes, carry on.
Yeah, I mean, let's say all the Muslims follow a certain Khalifa, and the Khalifa let's say one of the Khalifas we all agree on, let's say Abu Bakr or something. And let's say somebody claims that Abu Bakr said X, Y, and Z. Does that mean all those people who accepted Abu Bakr as a Khalifa?
Let me stop you there, Khalid. Let me stop.
That's all I can understand. Yeah, go on.
So, do you know the science of Hadith?
I know a little bit that there are some Hadiths called Sahih, and
but
not really.
Not really. No, do you understand the basic concept of Hadith?
No, so that's why I was trying to see. Okay, let me try to say what I like to do on my channel. I like to keep it so simple, so everybody can understand. So if we go into Hadith, right, which we can, but I'd rather not. And the reason why I want to go into stay in the Quran, because everybody knows everything in the Quran has to be accepted by all Muslims. With Hadith, you might say this one's accepted, this one's not, blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, what are you going to say?
No, that's fine. I mean, you said, imagine if Abu Bakr said this and somebody said that, whatever. We've got a chain of narration. And if you study the science of Hadith, you will realize that it's probably as close as the Quran in terms of manuscripts, etc., or the actual hadiths?
I don't think so.
Now,
Not at all.
so why do you what's your logic behind that?
Okay, so there are contradictions between the Quran and the Hadith. Like when you're doing wudu, should you wash your arms 3 times, 2 times, 1 time? There's
Okay,
all sorts of issues. So
Khalid, okay.
I would never go near saying that Hadith are anywhere near as good as the Quran. But that's,
Well,
we can just
you're actually
disagree on that.
following your Mirza Ghulam, because Mirza Ghulam said that he throws them hadiths in the bin.
Which Hadith I don't know, but yeah, not all Hadith, clearly not. But yeah.
I
So
think,
anyway, are you interested in talking about these verses of the Quran? Because I thought that would be more productive. So there's this verse of the Quran. We can go through it into detail if you like. But I mean, if you're not, that's fine. Because
no.
as I
Okay,
said,
let me ask you a couple of qualifying questions, okay?
sure,
So
go for it.
you follow Mirza, you're Ahmadi, yeah?
Yes,
That's
I'm
what
an
you class
Ahmadi
yourself,
Muslim.
yeah?
Yeah. That's
So
right.
when you read the Quran and there's something you don't understand, yeah?
Yeah.
Your job should be to go to Mirza Ghulam's books and have a look at how he interpreted those meanings, yeah? Is that right?
I do effectively, because
So I think it's fair
there's a
that you show us what Mirza Ghulam said, and we will show you, I will show you what is the mainstream or what is the truth.
I just feel like the words there can make it. I could do that. Okay, so for people's references, what we as Ahmadi Muslims tend to go to is the easiest source. Okay, that's kind of the Arabic stuck with commentary. There's especially for English speaking people like myself, is the 5-volume commentary. Okay, we call it the 5-volume commentary by the second caliph, according to Ahmadi Muslims. And so that essentially is is linked to what Mirza Ghulam Ahmad would have said. There's no
Brother,
contradiction
can I
there.
interrupt
But
you?
anyway,
Bro,
yeah, go on.
The 5-volume commentary was not written by the second Khalifa. It was written by Malik Ghulam Farid. What you're referring to is Tafsir Kabir and Tafsir Sagir. Malik Ghulam Farid said he based his English commentary on those, but technically that's
okay, fine. Yeah, it's connected, but whatever. Yeah, sure. So the point is, if I was to check that, I would be checking the 5-volume commentary, because it's a very quick thing to do. It's all available online and searchable and all that kind of stuff. But I kind of want to keep it super simple. Like, here's a verse of the Quran. Do you have any opinion? So I've given my opinion. Okay. Just give your opinion. So yeah. Is anybody? All the cameras have gone off. I don't know what's happening in the background, but does anybody want to give their opinion? We can move on. If you don't have an opinion on this verse of the Quran, as I say, this is very casual. Where I'm not going to say you must respond to this. We can just move on to another point. I can make another point. You can make another point. We can respond as you wish. It's very relaxed. So, do you, either of you, Bashir or Amir, have an opinion on this particular verse of the Quran? If you don't, this again is very casual. It doesn't mean you don't have an answer. It means you could check it up. We could do another chat sometime in the future.
I think you're appealing to your people that are watching the channel. No way of me or Bashir have said that we're not going to interpret this. You claim to be a follower of Mirza, so can you please tell us what your understanding of this verse is, and then we.
I thought I said that already. I was saying that you don't know. Nobody's got a right to tell somebody else that they are not believers. That's all. From this verse of the Quran, so you can have a look. Do you disagree with that?
So, brother, can you scroll up, or is it 494? Are we starting on 494? Because there was one.
Yeah, let me. So I can also. So let me go back to where is it? There we go. You know what? I should grab the tab. Anyway, so it is 494. You're correct. Yes.
Sounds good. So really quick, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said the people who don't accept me are waladul haram.
Here we go.
Zuriyatul Bagaya. Right? So hold on. And I haven't even went into this verse. Okay. And I'll read the English translation from Quran.com. O ye who believe.
Yes.
When you go forward in the cause of, which is what Mirza Ghulam Ahmad claims he was doing. He was collecting money, writing these books for Islam, is what his claim was. Obviously we don't claim that, but make a proper investigation and say not to anyone who greets you with the greeting of peace, you are not a believer. Forget about all that. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said, anyone who doesn't accept the British government is a good and has taken care of us and loved us and etc. etc. He said a bunch of things, right? That I don't exactly remember. He said they're a harami. So that's worse than you're calling someone, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said he said anyone who believes that Isa hasn't died yet is committing shirk. He did takfir. In 1906, the famous letter to Abdul Hakim Khan. Brother, please tell me you know about all this. Then in 1902, he said other things about those who reject him. He talked down on the Shia. Okay, he called the mothers of people prostitutes. He called his brother, his cousin brother, widowed wife, a prostitute. Brother, he is breaking this verse now. So here's the final question: what did Mirza Ghulam Ahmad write on this verse?
I don't know. I haven't checked it up. So the verse of the Quran is very simple. I don't mind going to Quran.com and looking at it. It seems to be straightforward. It says, when you go, like you said, in the cause of Allah, okay, if somebody says peace to you, don't call them a disbeliever. So I think it's fairly simple. But I just, and also, like you've already given your response. I think I'm trying to understand your response. Your response is something like Mirza Ghulam Ahmad didn't do this, therefore nobody should follow. I don't know. I'm just saying, both of you don't follow Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, so do you follow this verse of the Quran?
Of course, I follow it.
So so do you call me a disbeliever, even though this verse of the Quran is saying don't call me a disbeliever?
Yes, because I've made the proper investigation. It says right there, unless you make a proper, which you admittedly haven't done, even on Ahmadiyas, you haven't done a proper investigation. I don't think you've done a proper investigation of Islam. I mean, brother, just my work the last 10 years. I've done more than a proper investigation. I went into the extreme details and etc. As you know. So yeah, Muslims follow this, but Mirza Ghulam Ahmad didn't follow it. He called people haram zada. In the Zurayatul Bagaya quote, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad wrote an Arabic book inside of
okay, cool. I mean, go on. I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, that he was sending to the Muslim world. Who reads Arabic, right? Muslims, mostly 95% Muslims. There's some that could read it and aren't Muslim. He's sending the book to them saying, hey guys, in India, everyone has accepted me except the children of prostitutes. But he forgets his two sons hadn't accepted him also. So now he's calling his ex-wife a prostitute. And he's calling his two sons who disagreed with him on Muhammadi Begum sons of prostitutes. So, brother, we have this huge issue here, brother. And back over to you.
Okay, yeah, sure. So, I mean, there's a few mosquitoes here. So I think you've misunderstood what the verse of the Quran is saying, because it's not saying if you've made proper investigation, then you therefore have the right to call people disbelievers, because it says and. So if we go back to it, it says, make proper investigation and say not to anyone who greets you with a greeting of peace, you are not a believer. That's it. So it's not depending on.
This is why I was saying to read it in Arabic.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm going to put it on the screen.
If you look,
I
what
will.
it says, "O you who believe, when you go forward in the cause of Allah, which is us, make proper investigation." Okay, and so that means you equate the people that are not in the fold of Islam, you take them out. And say not to anyone who greets you with the greeting of peace, you are not a believer. Now, I think it's important, Khalid, how much, I mean, like I said before, I mean, it's important that people, the audience, know
Yeah.
what your understanding of the Arabic language
I'm just
is.
going to make it so we can share both. So go on, Nana. What is my understanding? I know a few words. My wife is Arab. My mother-in-law's got a PhD in Arabic,
No, but
and I
you're
often
talking
talk to
about
her.
your
But me myself,
mother-in-law having a
yeah,
PhD.
yeah,
You
yeah.
don't have a PhD either, do
No,
you?
no, I don't. No,
So,
I don't. No.
like, if I said, "Oh, my brother's a doctor," I'm a doctor too. So it doesn't work like that.
Sure. So
Um,
I ask
and
questions
also,
as
how
well.
much, at what
Yeah.
extent have you studied your own religion?
Well, plenty. I mean, I don't want to see what I'm trying to focus on. It's not me personally. Like this gives
Well,
verse of
I
the
think
Quran
the
as an
reason I'm
argument.
asking those questions, Khalid,
Yeah,
brother,
yeah. Go
yeah,
on.
is
Yeah.
that we need to know the audience. I mean, I'm not sitting there for just having a chat because I want to know you're
Sure,
sincere. If you're
sure.
sincere, okay, then I can, or there's probably lots of people, but Bashir especially, can show you logically how your beliefs are misguided.
Hmm.
Do you understand? I mean, at the end of the day, you've got a brain. Could you explain why you believe Mirza is the last or a prophet of Islam? What's the criteria for a prophet in your brain?
So there are many reasons why, besides all sorts of prophecies being fulfilled and special treatment of our community, like we're the only ones with a Khalifa and things like that, and that's part of a
Stop,
prophecy
stop,
as well.
stop, stop. Don't say that. Don't. Please,
Don't
mate.
say that.
Khalid,
You asked me a question, so I'm
Khalid,
answering
you
the
say
question.
we're the only ones with a Khalifa. Listen, Michael Jackson had more fans than your Mirza. I'll tell you that now. And your
Okay, I was
Mirza's
talking
been
about
around for
Michael
over
Jackson.
100 years.
Sure.
Michael Jackson only about 30 or
I'm
40
not
years.
sure. Are you equating a Khalifa with Michael Jackson? I'm a bit
I'm not on
confused
about
by
that.
your
I'm just saying
argument.
to you that you
Yeah,
say
go on, go on.
Khalifa. You're saying Khalifa like it means
Yeah.
Khalifa to everybody in the whole world. The
Yeah.
Khalifas were the rightly guided that we know of: Abu Bakr,
Mm-hmm.
Uthman, Umar, and Ali.
Right.
So please, yeah, like we got a Khalifa. That doesn't justify it. That doesn't
Sure, if
justify
it doesn't justify it for you, that's fine. But what I'm claiming is that if you believe God is all aware, okay, and He wants to make it easy for people to distinguish between the people, the wrong people, and the right people, then out of all the people who get to have a Khalifa, which I hope you realize, do you believe having a Khalifa is an important thing, ideally for unity? Like if there was a Khalifa for the Muslims, all the Muslims, right? Okay, let's just say like you don't accept who we believe is the Khalifa. So
No, but come on, man. Look,
would
look,
it
just
you don't
go
think
online
I'm
and
just asking you a question.
read about the sex scandals. Read about the
No, I'm just
midnight.
asking you a
Read about
question.
the stuff that goes
Okay, so
on.
you don't want to
And
answer that.
it
That's
will
fine. That's
disgust
fine.
you. Khalid, you say Khalifa, but you're talking about people that are perverts.
Okay, so that's your claim. Let me just try to get the Arabic up. So I'm trying to. So here's for everybody's reference, I suppose. Let me see if I can zoom in to make it even better for everybody. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's too big. Anyway, it's too difficult. But anyway, so
What's too difficult? Go down again. Go down again.
oh, okay, it's showing lots of verses. Oh, okay. I thought it was just the one verse. Okay, yeah. Okay. So, oh believers, when you struggle in the cause of Allah, be sure of who you fight. So there's all sorts of ways you can translate that word. Sabilallah, right? The cause of Allah. Anyway, so yeah. So anyway, any further comments on this verse? We can move on. As like you're making, suggestions of
I think
what is relevant to decide who is a Muslim or not. And you're saying the character of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad or the Khalifas, if it doesn't, these allegations that I would say are unfounded or not proved, then that's you're free to believe that that's your way of deciding. And I'm just trying to stick to the Quran and say, what does the Quran say? Because I think it's very simple debate, really. the Quran says you can't call people a disbeliever. And I think there's a lot of wisdom in that, by the way, because I've mentioned this at Speaker's Corner, okay, and people, Muslims, make fun of that verse of the Quran. They say, oh, what happens if a Jewish person says salam? Do you accept them as a Muslim? All it means is you're not allowed to call people disbelievers. And I think there's great wisdom in that, because amongst the Muslims, everybody's calling each other, you're not a believer, you're not a believer, and it causes a lot of disunity. And that's why...
Can I just stop you there for 1 second, Khalid? There's comments on here, which...
Yeah, sure, go on.
So,
go on.
First of all, to Aisha Shamas, I don't know what you're doing there. I've been hearing...
Aisha Shamas says...
Yes, she claims to be an extended people. Ismail Malik, I'm a Muslim. I follow Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, okay? That answers your question.
So wait. Let's do it together, because it's not just your show. So if you're going to interrogate Brother Khalid, can you do it in a way that is productive? So thank you, Aisha. Yeah, I think maybe the most productive way is we respond to each other's comments. So go on, respond.
But Khalid, let me. I'm on about the people that are saying what sect, etc. Look, Ismail Malik, whatever your name is, please. Stop it, okay?
Just what is he saying? Amir is hiding his sect and saying he represents Islam. I mean, what makes you upset about that? Because I mean, I do like the participation generally. You know, I value people who've taken the time to make comments. But you know, is there something that upsets you about his comments? As Amir is hiding his sect and saying he represents Islam. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't represent Islam. You do,
Brother Khalid.
Yes, go on. Go on. Who wants to talk? Go for it, Bashir.
Yeah, just real quick. Anytime we try to debate with you guys, this is what you guys say. What sect are you? In fact, the True Islam Discord team says the same thing. Razi says the same thing. Well, you, brother, obviously you're not in touch. That's okay. But I'm just appraising you to what this is. It's the common Ahmadi tactic. What sect are you? Ahmadis don't understand Muslims are just Muslims.
I've been Ahmadi for my whole life. I've never heard this kind of tactic, but
brother,
in all the debates that have been going on between Adnan, Rashid, or however you say his name, I didn't hear that once. So
you didn't hear Razi saying spiritual father. Your spirit. He brought up some.
Oh, I see what you mean. No, I agree that he's trying to. He didn't say which sect are you. He's saying based on what you've already said about yourself and your claims and who you follow and who you learn Islam from, I'm going to respond to you based on who you agree with. You know, if you say X is your teacher, I'm going to respond to what your teacher said. I think that's a reasonable thing.
You just double standard yourself. We said exactly the same about Mirza.
and you said no, we're not going to quote him.
You know, Khalid, seriously, man. You know what, bro? Honestly, as a man to a man, I'm telling you, yeah. Look, come on, man. Like, what is going on? What is going on inside?
I don't know what's going on, man. Amir, I don't know what's going on.
What's going on inside your head? What is the
logic? I'm a mathematician. I'm just here. You know what? I'm a mathematician. I just want to hear some logic. I gave you some ideas. You respond to them. Okay, so you went to this verse of the Quran that says you can't call people disbelievers.
You brought up a verse of the Quran where it says, be sure of who you fight. Okay? You completely dismiss that. You say,
does it say that? It says, do not call people disbelievers. But anyway, go on.
What does it say before that? What does it say before that? Read it. Go on.
When you struggle in the cause of Allah, be sure of who you fight.
Stop.
Yeah, but that's not exact.
Hold on. Stop. Yeah. So if you just take that bit out, so when you're being sure of who you fight, let's say for example, tomorrow you meet somebody, and you don't know if they're Muslim or a non-believer, what are you going to do?
If I have to fight somebody and I don't know if they're believers or not,
you're going to qualify them first, ain't you?
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
What is the qualifying criteria?
So that all they have to say. I agree with you.
I'll tell you the qualifying criteria.
So they don't even have to say La ilaha illa Muhammad Rasulullah. In this case, even in the dangerous situation of a war, if they say peace, you're not allowed to call them a disbeliever and beat them up or kill them or whatever.
So,
Wow,
okay,
dude.
let's just say
So-
tomorrow a war breaks out. Somebody breaks into your house, grabs your family, okay, and he says
Yeah.
to you, peace. Peace, yeah?
Sure, sure,
What are you
sure.
gonna
Yeah.
do?
We're not talking about Islam though. We're talking about some other
No,
thing, like I
I'm
don't
talking
know,
about
some other
if
country.
there is an Islamic war, or
Sure.
let's just say any kind of war where you have to defend yourself. It could be any, like, it could be anything. And they say
Yeah.
peace to you.
Sure.
What's your reaction going to be?
I say, oh, the Quran says, therefore I have to accept. And there's a precedent in the Hadith, like
You make me laugh,
why are you
man.
laugh?
You make me laugh.
But that
bro.
means
Seriously.
you think the Quran makes you laugh. That's sad.
No, it's nothing to do with that. Be
That's what the
sure
Quran
of
says.
who you
Just give
fight.
me a logic. Yeah, sure.
Be
Go on.
sure of who you fight. That means look into their beliefs, who they are, like yourselves. Qadiani, I will say this over and over again. You associate yourself with us, the Quran, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but I'm sorry, you are completely out of the fold of Islam. I don't know how you can even use Quran to talk about it. Your own Mirza, read his books. Let's put his books up. Let's read them. Come on.
No, I don't think so.
Come on.
So,
It'd be a good. Come on, listen. I'll give you the.
I'm going to stick to the Quran.
I'll
keep
give
it
you.
simple.
No, I'll give you. I think Bashir could probably realize. Bashir, have you got any Mirza quotes that will go with this verse?
We're going to get
that
all
you
sorts
said?
of snippets out.
I think,
Khalid,
if you just give Bashir a chance, I think it's important. You've represented your argument. Now we're going to show it to you what you're supposed to believe in. Okay. What you as a Bashir, I'll let you carry on, bro.
Yeah.
So what, Bashir, what's your argument here? So therefore, since Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said something that you think is disagreeable in some ways, therefore anybody who follows him, even if they say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, that discounts them. Is that what you're saying? That could be your argument.
Not exactly. And it's weird that you tried to do that, but Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said,
did I do a magic trick just then?
No, not a magic trick, but you tried to put words in my mouth, brother. Come on. But,
I asked you a question.
Yeah.
Go
on. So Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said, the people who don't accept him, everyone's accepted him, is what he said. Except, he says, the only type of person that will not accept him is the son of a prostitute, Zuriyatul Bagaya. Okay, and then he didn't say, here's what it means. He didn't tell until 15, 20 years later, someone's trying to explain what he said. If I come up to you, Brother Khalid, and say you're a son of a whatever, okay, and then I don't clarify for 10 years, minimum, that's a problem. Okay, now he didn't just say it in a personal conversation me and you are having backstage, whatever. He didn't say it like that, right? He said it in a book and published it to the Arabic world, lying, saying everyone's accepted him in India. Barely 150 people had accepted him by then. Barely. Not even, there's no number on it. So you're trying to bring a verse and say we should be this and that, but your own example from your own prophet is the contrary, and you keep avoiding it. You keep avoiding where he said walad al haram. You know, my brother came online and said that about me too. Okay, which proves.
Sorry, you're okay. Come on, carry
on.
Oh
no, I can tell you his name is Huram Shah. Where I look.
No, I'm not denying. I'm just wondering where this conversation
the audacity.
Going.
See, so why?
I don't know who your brother is. Is he an Ahmadi Muslim? That's what I was confused about.
Oh, well, so let me tell you. So I come from an Ahmadi family, not anymore. Most of them are not, but there's one guy, who was given a gas station as part of this deal. So he's the only one that stayed, right? Anyhow, he's had the audacity to go on a live video, call me Walad al Haram. Okay. And that's not even cool to use metaphorically. You got to be careful saying that metaphorically to a boy. You say that to one of them young boys, all right, they're not going to ask for clarification. Okay, so he said that on a live video about me. So it proves this is the adab of what Ahmadis are doing. Just look at Razi. Razi does takfir on every Muslim he meets. Brother, what are you?
When you say takfir, you mean every Muslim he meets, he says that they're not Muslims? Is that what you're saying?
He accuses them of blasphemy. He accuses
Sure.
them of not being a
But
Muslim.
does he say? Oh,
Yeah.
does he actually say that? I've never heard a video where he
Brother,
says that.
brother,
Wow.
you want if you want.
I mean,
look, they
free
said it
for
about
you.
me, brother Holland.
No, feel free, in the comment.
Ruzzy keeps calling me an atheist. Ruzzy keeps calling me an atheist. You didn't know.
He might, some people might behave like atheists, but
bro, so there you go.
But it's not for me to decide if you're an atheist, but I say,
brother Holland, that contradicts the verse. Brother, you just admitted that Ruzzy's contradicting the verse. I'm clarifying to him. I'm a Muslim, alhamdulillah. Here's photos of me in the masjid.
Great. So I'm not going to call,
Ruzzy said no. Ruzzy said no. He will not accept that I'm a Muslim. Huram Shah said no.
Really? I don't know everything Ruzzy's ever said, so I doubt that because
Oh well, we can,
anyway.
Brother. I got tweets. We got all the information. So brother,
good. So feel free to post, links and stuff in the comments, whatever. But I don't want to make it too boring about Ruzzy or this one person said that, because let's kind of make some more progress. So I'm going to
one last question before we move on.
Yeah, go on.
Did Mirza Ghulam Ahmad say the people who haven't accepted him in a private letter that was published and authenticated by his sons? Did he say those who don't accept me are non-Muslim? Yes or no?
I don't know.
What?
Okay, so you can educate me, give me some links, whatever, okay, and we'll find out, right? Okay.
Brother Holland, this is the basics of this stream. You don't know?
No. Okay, so now what I want to do is ask another question, because we've done that bit already. We're going around in circles, right? So all I want to say is,
I wouldn't say we're going around in circles. Just keep
we're talking about one topic a lot. So I kind of want to progress through a number of topics to make it more useful. Otherwise, it might be a bit boring, I think.
Before you carry on, Khalid, I wanted to ask you a question, bro.
Go on. One question, then I'm going to ask a question.
You can ask me a question, actually. You can ask me a question back. Okay. But it's a yes, no. It's a yes, no question, yeah?
I'll try. I mean, not all questions are yes or no.
Do you think people that don't follow Mirza Ghulam Ahmad are kafirs?
No.
Okay.
There you go. Okay. So anyway, my question was...
So you don't follow Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, then I take it?
I do.
But he called all of us.
But anyway, you've asked your question.
But just it's really funny because
I don't agree. I don't agree that he said what you're claiming he said. That's all. Yeah. So in the
Bashir,
comments,
do you want to bring it up, bro?
Listen, relax. Just
Bashir, do you want to bring up what he called us?
I can pull up the quote.
We're moving. No, you can't. Okay, we're going to move on.
Khalid,
we're going to move on.
Khalid,
we're going to move on. We're going to move on because we're going to move on. So my question is, to become a Muslim, you have to say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. And for those who don't know, there might be English-speaking people, or there's a Hindu person who's investigating Islam at the moment. It means there's no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger, right? And I believe that. So on what basis am I not Muslim? There's a question, you can answer it in any way you like. Who wants to have an answer?
And I'll go real quick. What about Musaylama Kazab? He agreed with the kalima. So brother, listen to me, brother.
That's your answer. Okay, go on, carry on with you.
When you first convert to Islam, if you say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, we'll accept it. 5 minutes later, you go say Mirza's a prophet, you left, brother. You see what I mean?
Okay, so that's your definition. Okay. I mean, Amir, do you agree with Bashir on that?
Of course. Adding a prophet or any kind after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is kabira gunah, kabira.
So
it is out of the fold of Islam.
Kabira guna, so big sin.
Khalid,
just to translate for everybody.
Let me just according to your beliefs, the 1.8 or 1.9 billion people around the globe are on the wrong path. Is that what you're saying?
That's common. A lot of people are doing the wrong thing.
Hold on.
So you have a problem with that because the Quran confirms that if you follow the majority, you'll be led away from the truth.
Okay,
so we can go to that verse of the Quran if you want.
since Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam till now, everybody that has followed what me and Bashir as mainstream Muslims follow is wrong. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think the Khalifas after don't agree with what you currently believe, which is
So
Jesus
my,
had
it's
supernatural
I
powers
find
and
it,
lived
I find it,
2,000 years and etc. They didn't
I
didn't
find
believe
it,
that,
I
and it's
find
in the
it.
Quran. It's very clear
Okay,
that it's
okay, Khalid,
that they didn't believe that.
I find it very difficult to comprehend that. Let's just say, for argument's sake, your belief is correct. Let's just say, for argument's sake, yeah.
Sure.
On the day of Qiyamah, I will be judged according to my beliefs, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm in the wrong side, and Allah says, why didn't you believe in Mirza Ghulam, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And Allah doesn't talk to us in puzzles or, oh, this word could mean that. Allah has given us a straightforward, simple instruction. And what is that? To follow Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And what did Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam say? La nabiyya ba'di. After me, there is no prophet.
Sure.
Okay.
Shall I
Now
respond?
you can play with those words as much as you want. You can dress it up as much as you want. We have a Khalifa. We have this. Blah blah blah. You know, it's just I can't comprehend it. And you know what? I actually feel sorry for you guys.
Okay.
I do, because
Pray
I think
for
to
me.
myself, I
Heartfelt
think to
prayers,
myself,
please.
you follow a religion where a guy that drank alcohol, took drugs, died in a really bad state. Nowhere in the books did he remember Allah while he was dying. I mean, his last words were, what was it, Bashir? What was his? I think it was, I've got
मुझे वो भाई
diarrhea or
ऐसा हो गया है.
It's like, like, come on, man. Khalid, I'm just saying, like, open your
You've got a
brain,
lot
man.
of claims. Sure, but I'm trying to. So I'm very simple. I like to stick to the Quran. And if you can
keep
tell me
saying
I'm
that.
wrong.
You keep saying that, bro, but I'm telling you,
Yeah.
what you're saying, yeah, you're contradicting yourself every
Oh,
second.
by the sure. Okay, so
bring up what Mirza Ghulam said. Show us what Mirza. Why are you so scared of showing us what he said? Why?
I like to keep it simple. Okay, so now
his books are simple. His books are simple. He's got 10 pages in Bashir where he just wrote Lana over and over again.
I will respond a little bit.
A 2-year-old child would know what that is. That is simple. Show us his books. Please show us his books. Come on, man. Be fair. Let's have a look at his books and break it down.
Show me the books.
Of the things he talks about. Let's do
Are you
this.
ready?
Come on,
Are you ready?
Forget the Quran for a second. Bring up his books.
Forget the Quran. Okay, yeah.
Bring up his books. Bring up his books. Come on. If you got the gut, let's read his books online now, live, and then you can tell me what each. So you always say,
"Are you ready?" I kind of.
Haram is metaphorically.
Okay, I ignored a lot of things. I'll respond to a little bit.
Haram, metaphorically.
So the Quran talks in those terms as well. There's a verse in the Quran.
No, it does not.
It does.
Please stop.
So I will give it. I'll find it for you.
Khalid, I'm not going to let you.
It talks about Abu Jahl.
What in the Quran? Khalid, please let me talk.
I will. For everybody's benefit. Okay, go on. So I've said it, but you're gonna go on.
Do not say the Quran used the same words and etc. Show us.
Yeah, it means.
Show us. Show me now. Show me right now.
Because I don't think it's relevant.
Come on.
But
so you're talking about the word zanim, yeah? Is that what you're talking about?
I think yes, it is.
Zanim. So do you know the meaning of zanim?
It means somebody of doubtful parenthood. Yes.
Okay. So what does Waldul Haram mean?
Father of. But essentially means the same thing.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
So if I was to walk up to you in the middle of the street and I said to you, yo, I think you're a Waldul Haram. Are you going to say, oh, I think he doubts my parenthood or my parents? I don't think so, mate. Look,
so you made a comment. Okay, listen, I'm going to move on.
This is what you do.
I don't want you to hijack, so I am going to mute you.
Bashir, bring it up, man. Bring up his books for us, Bashir, please.
Okay, I'm gonna make the next point because it's getting boring. 1 second. So so the next bit is, and you can comment on this, and it says, and Muhammad is only a messenger. The messenger. In fact, I will go to Quran.com, which is a Ahmadi Muslim book, I mean translation. Okay, and it says, and Muhammad is no more than a messenger. Others have. Okay, so you got, this is going to be very interesting. I'll unmute you for it. There you go. This is going to be very interesting.
Khalid,
But you got two different translations. You've got this translation and you've got this translation. So if you look at the actual verse of the, it says, and Muhammad is not a messenger, and he passed away.
Read it in Arabic. Read it in Arabic.
Don't play the ad hominem games. I know what you're up to.
Do you want me to
so
read
Muhammad
it?
is not. You can after I go through the main point, right?
No, I think it's.
So Muhammad is not a messenger, and other messengers
Read
have
in
gone
Arabic,
before
Khalid.
him. And if
Read
he
it
was
in
to
Arabic.
die or be killed, will you disbelieve? So essentially, so this, it's interesting that they've said gone before him when this verse of the Quran is talking about death, right? So Khala passed away. So Muhammad is a is not a sorry, and Muhammad is no more. Muhammad is not a messenger, and other messengers have passed away before him. Essentially, that's what it's saying because it says passed away here, right? So if all prophets have passed away,
Surah, what's the surah number and ayah?
it's chapter 3, verse 144. So here's a simple thing. Like you said, it is very simple, and the Quran makes it very simple. Okay, the real difference between us is that you want to believe that Prophet Jesus is somehow still alive, you know, his supernatural powers of life or something treated. Okay, and this verse of the Quran is saying he's not alive. So he's saying all messengers have passed away.
One minute.
Wait, no.
Please,
When I'm
just 1
talking,
minute. I've got a question for you. Based on what you just said.
No.
No, it's important to ask you this because you said he's.
No. We have turns. When I'm talking, I let you talk. Okay. So all I'm saying is this verse of the Quran is saying messengers had died before Prophet Muhammad. All the messengers. It says Ar-Rasul, right? The messengers. Doesn't have any exceptions. And this is the key difference. So I believe in La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Now you've added this idea that messengers, you know, there's one messenger who's still alive somehow, Jesus, peace be upon him. And I'm saying the Quran says you're wrong. So therefore, we should just stick to La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah to decide who is a Muslim. Go for it.
I think I'll let Bashir take over.
Yeah, sure. Go for it. Yeah, go on for it.
So, Brother Khalid, again, you didn't quote Mirza Ghulam Ahmad saying this, which would have been easy. It's on my blog. When Mirza Ghulam Ahmad used this verse in 1891, that's what you should do. But you didn't. It's okay.
Yeah, you can educate us.
Yeah. Let me educate you on this real quick. So, no one ever dies permanently. All right, there is no such thing as he's permanently dead. Okay, as we know, all the martyrs are alive, all the prophets are alive in the samawate. Okay, you have to figure out the samawate is different than the Jannah, which I don't think you came to that yet. I don't think you got there yet, but that's okay. So this verse. So remember, all the prophets of the Quran are above the generalized rules of the Quran, Brother Khalid, and you don't know that.
And Surah Kahf, do you believe those boys they were kept they slept in that cave for how many 100 years was it?
For 300 years.
No, I don't believe in it literally. No.
Well, so Brother Khalid doesn't believe in the exceptions in the Quran. In fact, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is an exception in terms of marriage. Everyone else could only marry 4 at one time. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was an exception. In fact, there are exceptions to every rule. Isa alayhi salam is an exception to all the generalized rules of the Quran. So the way you're trying to twist this verse, brother, it doesn't hold water. For example, the birth of Isa alayhi salam is against the generalized rules that are given in the Quran. So in fact, his entire life, his entire experience is an exception to all the rules. Maybe you never heard that. Maybe you never knew. So again, this verse has nothing to do, and no Muslim ever quoted this to say that Isa alayhi salam was dead. It never even happened. So Mirza Ghulam Ahmad is the inventor of this specific argument, chapter 3, verse 144, and that's all I got.
Okay, cool. Amir, you got anything to say about that?
Yeah, like I said, you just you answered my question about the men of the cave. I mean, I'm sorry, but I disagree with you completely. Right.
Cool.
Give me about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm just going to do my maghrib, and you want to talk to your thingy. I'm just going to do my prayers quickly. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Oh yeah. Ahmadi fact. Are you Bashir? Are you which country are you in?
I'm in the USA, California. Like I said, I'm pretty open,
Okay.
brother. You know, I'm
I'm
in
just
the US.
wondering. I'm very casual. I like to know where people are from. Do you know
Oh,
where I am? Do you want to guess
oh,
where I am right?
I've
Where
seen
am
you
I
in the
right now?
I've seen you in the UK, but I don't know where you are like right now. Right
Oh,
now.
come on. Look at the garlic hanging on the
Oh,
windows.
I
Very
don't.
natural kind of place, down to earth.
I don't know.
Somewhere in the Middle East. What's the most down to earth Middle East country you know?
Kababir, half of Israel. Is that where you're at?
I'm in Jordan, which is next to Israel.
Did you go to Kababir?
Gababir, not yet. I would like to. It's a nice place.
Where did you
Gababir, for
fly
people who
in?
don't know.
You must have flew into Jordan.
Yeah, straight to Jordan.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
you don't have to go via Israel. So
Yeah,
people
yeah.
who are wondering, where is Gababir? It's a coastal area where an Ahmadi Muslim mosque is in Haifa, I believe. Beautiful area. Do
Yeah.
YouTube
Have you
it.
read my
Lots of
research
videos.
work on that, brother Khalid?
No, I haven't. I don't actually know much about your website, but you know,
Brother, what are you
yeah,
talking about, brother? Listen, in terms of the history of Ahmadi and Israel, I've
yeah.
painstakingly made so many notes. I found a thesis. There was a guy named Ray Rich. So there's also Christians in Kababir in that village, and they sent missionaries there to and one of the missing missionaries, Ray Register, wrote a thesis about Ahmadiyya in Kababir, 1970. I've tracked all the Murabbis that went there. And let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm like mid 40s, 44
But
years
what
old.
did what was the research? You were about to say something about the research, and then you suddenly went on to you're in your mid-40s. What's the result of all that research? Very briefly, although it's kind of a sidetrack.
The result of my research, the result of
On
my
this mosque of Kababir, which is in on a
yeah.
coastal
Well,
part of Haifa.
here, and I just posted. I mean, I can't post all the essays, but the result of my research is that there was a family in Israel, the O'Day family, who accidentally
Oh,
converted.
their family, yeah.
They thought Mirza Ghulam Ahmad was the Mahdi, some kind of Mahdi. You know, the same thing happened in Africa. You know, people
Sure.
thought MGA is just a Mahdi, and as you know,
Sure.
most families don't know the Aqidah. They think he's just the Messiah or a Mahdi, but there's a lot more detail. So they
Yeah.
accidentally converted, and then now they've been stuck. But a lot of them have left. Have you
Sure.
have you read the book by Hassan O'Day?
No, I don't. No, I haven't.
Brother,
Oh man,
brother.
I'm missing out, right?
You're missing out, brother.
I'm missing out.
Brother Hassan O'Day lived in Tilford. He was the first Arab Israeli from Kababir to become a Murabbi, bro.
Great. Okay.
And there hasn't been anyone. You know where all the Murabbis are from that are in Israel, right?
Where they're all from?
From
I don't
India.
know if they're all from one place. But
Well,
yeah.
because Pakistan isn't allowed to send Murabbis to Israel.
Yeah, sure. But anyway, now this is like a sidetrack conversation. We want to kind of stick on topic. So anyway, do you have any response about this particular verse of the Quran that says? So that was the end of your response, wasn't it?
So
I was.
what do you think about my response? What do you think about what I said? Esau being an exception to all of these rules. And
yeah. Thank you, because I totally forgot what we were talking about. So yeah, I'm sure you know, Ahmadi Muslims don't believe Prophet Jesus to be an exception in some miraculous way. We believe that his mother was a hermaphrodite. You probably know that, right? Okay, so there's lots of evidence. So people who don't know what hermaphrodite is, somebody who can give birth asexually. So there's evidence of that existing. So we don't believe that we don't believe Allah breaks his own laws of nature. That's how simple it is, really. So he's always created ways. If you want to achieve something, he doesn't break his own laws. He has the foresight to create the laws that he needs to. He doesn't need to break those laws. So generally, it's kind of, for those who are researching Islam Ahmadiyya, we don't believe in miracles that break the law of nature. or are beyond logic, I often explain it like this. So when a Christian can't explain something, they use the M word. They say it's the mystery. If a Muslim or general, Muslim, I say, let's call it Sunni Muslims or whatever, if they can't explain something, they call it a miracle, right? So it's just beyond the laws of nature or anything. It just happens somehow. So Ahmadi Muslims are very logical, very scientific, and we don't believe in these kinds of exceptions. I suppose that's really my answer. And so, I mean, also just looking at the verse of the Quran where you say, like, nobody really dies, then this verse of the Quran makes no sense, because this is talking about Prophet Muhammad dying. And oh yes, you mentioned, or it was you or Amir mentioned, that nobody's ever used this verse, and no Muslim has ever used this verse to prove that Jesus hadn't died. In fact, Hazrat Umar, effectively used it at the time of the death of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, so he said that not Umar, Abu Bakr, getting it wrong way around, because Umar was the one who was claiming that Prophet Muhammad hadn't died. Something had happened to him. He's going to disappear and come back at some point. He didn't want to believe that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had died. Then Abu Bakr quoted this verse, and then Hazrat Umar, the second Khalifa, understood. He said, he didn't say, oh, but what about Jesus? He's still floating in the sky and he's going to come back. Why can't Prophet Muhammad do that? So go on, respond. Yeah.
Well, but brother, you gave this long explanation as if I don't know that this is your position.
But it's for everybody else.
Yeah, well, I'll stop being for everybody else, brother. You shouldn't care. You shouldn't care.
I do. You should
care. So did you know? Okay, do you know the Muslim?
I care about you guys listening. I care about you guys. Okay. Don't listen to.
Do you know the Muslim position on our counter argument? Do you know it when Ahmadis say exactly what you said?
Go. What's your counter argument? That's what you're here for.
No, you don't know it.
I've heard all sorts of counter arguments. For example, one argument is that this verse says, when it says the messengers, al-Rasul, al means the, Rasul means messengers, it means only some messengers. And in fact, Jesus is an exception to these messengers. But the verse is very simple, al-Rasul, so the messengers, not some messengers.
What about the hadith? What's our response to the hadith?
I don't know what hadith you're talking about. I'm talking
about the hadith you just quoted was Hazrat Abu Bakr anhu, right?
That's not a hadith really, but anyway.
That is a hadith.
Hadith is something Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. But anyway, it's an account of
Life. What book is it in?
I don't know. You can tell me. Educate me.
Brother,
I didn't. We both agree on it. So did we both agree that this?
So
this happened.
What's the Muslim response? So you don't know it? Sure. Well, brother, I don't want to tell you something you already know. That's sort of.
I don't. Yeah, I might not know.
That's like me saying your hair is black. It's like we know. Everybody knows. Okay, so anyhow. Hazrat Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu didn't say Isa is dead. This is an argument for Isa alayhi salam is dead. He used it as an argument that, look, messengers pass. Okay, now he doesn't have to give all the exceptions in front of everyone. You see what I mean? Sometimes in conversation, you don't have time to interrupt and give all the exceptions. Okay, so Mirza Ghulam Ahmad was the first person in history to use this verse and the hadith to say that Isa alayhi salam died in India at age 120. That never happened before. That's why I implore you, brother. I think you said you're a math major, so you have some type of, maybe reading and writing isn't as much in math, but you got to go see how Mirza Ghulam Ahmad presented it in his Al-Aham or whatever book he presented it in, and then we go from there. So now I hope you understand what Muslims believe. Thank you for that time, and I'll go on mute, brother.
Great, thank you. So thank you for all the comments on the side, either side, you're welcome. Let's move on to another idea. it's all about sharing ideas, whether you accept it or not. You know, hopefully we're going to learn from each other, learn from different perspectives. So here's another simple verse of the Quran. O children of Adam. Let me see. Is it bigger here? It's nice with the Arabic. Oh, children is quite a lot bigger. It's quite nice. Okay. So, oh, children of Adam, when messengers from among yourselves come to you. By the way, this is Quran.com. You can check it out yourself. It's not on Ahmadi Muslim website. O children of Adam, when messengers from among yourselves come to you, reciting my revelations, whoever shuns evil and mends their ways, there will be no fear for them, nor will they grieve. So this is saying, when messengers come, then, you know, to accept their signs and stuff, right? But the point is, when messengers come. So if you believe the Quran is for all times to come, and there's no verse that is kind of redundant and no use anymore, especially this verse of the Quran was at the time of the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, so this is essentially suggesting that when messengers come, there will be messengers in the future. And I find it very interesting, maybe because people have been hearing that no messengers can possibly come, that they believe that it's a terrible thing to believe that no messengers can come, although God has always sent so many messengers all the time, every time human beings go wrong. In fact, we even essentially pray for it, okay? In Durood Sharif, we say, you know, give us the blessings that you blessed Prophet Ibrahim about, you know, and what's the greatest blessing that they had, Hazrat Ibrahim or Abraham had, was prophets, not gold, anything. So we always ask for these blessings, which is the greatest blessings is prophets. So the idea that no more, after thousands of prophets coming, there should be no more prophets is a bit odd. There is, I know the general response to this, Muslims say, you know, the Quran is perfect. We don't need any more messengers. The laws of God are always perfect relative to the people's needs. God doesn't give rubbish teachings in the past and then says, okay, now we need to send a messenger. And all messengers, by the way, like Jesus, for example, they don't invent new laws. Okay, they often support the law that exists that the followers are no longer following. So if Muslims are no longer following Islam, and you can see that, look how weak the Muslims are now. They used to be all united and work together, and they used to lead science and stuff like that. We're nowhere like that anymore. So there's something wrong with the Muslims. All the sects, that's not a good thing either. So all these problems suggest that we do need a messenger. Yes, the Quran is perfect, but we're not perfect. So anyway, thank you for giving me some time to talk. Appreciate that. Go for it.
Yeah,
do you have any response?
Yeah, brother. Brother, I see you as a sincere person.
Thank you.
Honestly, brother, but you know, I don't think the information has been reached you properly. Did you know the Baha'is quote this also? Did you know that?
No. Educate me.
Well, brother, that's fact one. The Baha'is quote this. Are you familiar with the Baha'i beliefs?
I get confused. Are they like, I can't remember. I do research. I've researched them and I've forgotten. So go for it. Explain.
Brother. Okay. So they're sort of like Ahmadis. In fact, Baha'u'llah claimed to be the Messiah also, and he lived past 23 years, and he quoted a lot of the things Mirza Ghulam Ahmad quoted. And the Kitab-i-Aqdas was published in 1891 from India. So it all happened in the same time. So the Baha'is quote this. The Baha'is believe that there's more prophets, thousands, it's sort of like Ahmadis, etc., etc. So second, did Mirza Ghulam Ahmad ever use this verse in any of his writings to say he's a prophet? No. You don't know, I'm telling you. Did the second Khalifa use this verse to promote the prophethood? And you know, he clarified the prophethood of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. Maybe you don't know, but he wrote a book in 1915 called Haqiqat an-Nubuwwat. It explains Mirza Ghulam Ahmad's prophethood. This verse ain't in it. Okay, so I've been looking for who's the first Ahmadi to quote this verse. Where did this belief come from? I've landed on Mirza Nasir Ahmad, and maybe because Tafsir Kabir was published in his time, so we don't really know who wrote it. So those are a bunch of facts. Okay, then, brother, Ahmadis don't even believe that there's more prophets. Every Ahmadi who's claiming to be a prophet has been kicked out, and you know this. You know this. No Ahmadi is any.
Not everybody can turn up and say they're prophets, but anyway, go on, carry on. I don't want to interrupt you. Go on.
But no, it's okay, brother, because we're just having a conversation. I find you very nice to speak to, and
thank you. Yeah, you've been quite nice as well.
But so Mirza Ghulam Ahmad never quoted this verse, so we're back to the same.
I second that as well.
Yeah, we're back to the same problem. Is Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, what did he say? If he didn't use this for his prophethood, maybe you shouldn't use it, because he knew, based on what you guys say, he knew about all these verses. Why is he not using it?
Okay, so I mean, I'm using it. Tell me how I'm wrong, but also, but I mean, if Ismail's a regular follower of my videos, he made an interesting point. He says, read the ayah. If someone else quoted it, is irrelevant. So you're saying this person quoted it, this person didn't quote it. Like, well, what's your opinion on this verse of the Quran?
Yeah, bro.
What's your personal? Not somebody else's.
Now, again, I don't have a personal opinion on any Quran. I go to the scholars, see what they wrote, go through their commentaries, compare and contrast. All right, I don't say I think this verse means that, because my opinion doesn't matter. Yeah. Your opinion doesn't matter, brother. You know, come on. You know,
we're judged.
You should quote either Malik Ghulam Freed. What did he write? Either the second Khalifa, third Khalifa, fourth Khalifa, or Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, etc. So okay. Okay, no one asks to be a prophet. If you ask to be a prophet, you need to be smacked in the head, right? Who wants to be that's not how it works, brother. You're a prophet from day one. From the day you're born, you're a prophet. When it activates is different. You can't be spiritual, pray 50 times a day, say Surah Fatiha over and over again, and read this verse over and become a prophet. Not going to happen. You know, and Ahmadis,
okay, I didn't know these rules, but anyway, go on.
Brother, I need to
God decides, but I don't know about when he decides and all this kind of stuff. But
brother, we need to be friends.
Sure.
And I can just calmly explain, hey, I know what you believe, but here's the other side. Here's what they've been saying for years that's not even being acknowledged and addressed. You know, so in Ahmadiyya, as you know, only the Khalifa claim to be a prophet. Only the Khalifa. Yeah. If any other Tom, Dick, or Harry tries to be a prophet, it ain't gonna work. If Masroor claims to be a prophet, y'all will accept him. There might be an exodus. Who knows? Who knows? If the sixth Khalifa claims to be a prophet, y'all will accept him. Anyone else? No. It's not happening. It's not happening. So okay, those are just a few points, and then
what do you think about this? So can I just quickly, people might not have understood my thumbnail, but you just reminded me. I don't know if you saw the thumbnail. I had it like this or this. It's like there was like all these Maulvis, and this is what a lot of people do. They go, we don't know what the Quran says. The Maulvis tell us what it means. Okay, and I'm saying, like, read the Quran yourself directly, because you're accountable to God at the end of the day. Like, what did you understood? If you just say, my leaders told me X, therefore I believe, that's not going to be good enough, because you had the opportunity to read the Quran yourself. But anyway.
But brother, the reason you're an Ahmadi is because you listen to your Maulvis.
No, that's not why.
Brother, Malik Ghulam Freed was a Maulvi. Do you believe what Malik Ghulam Freed wrote?
No, I question everything. That's why I go to Speaker's Corner. I hear the alternative point of view. I'm hearing your alternative point of view. And so far, I've been totally unconvinced, because normally I just get insulted. And the arguments, I've never been given an alternative argument. So, like, why should I agree? Like, if I say 1 + 1 is 2 and you tell me it's 3, you need to give me an argument for it. Otherwise, I can't believe you. So okay, I'm just waiting for you to give me an argument.
I just did. I just gave you like 3.
No, like somebody else said it. Is not. I want you to. I mean, if you wouldn't mind, you said somebody else.
This verse doesn't mean that more prophets can come.
Yeah, no, I mean, do you have so you have no personal view? That's your
I have
answer,
no
yeah?
personal view of Islam. My views come from what the scholars wrote. You know what I mean?
Okay,
I
sure,
don't interpret, brother.
sure.
You know, and you shouldn't either. If you're a true Ahmadi, you should read what your Maulvis wrote. And you admitted to it, Malik Ghulam Freed, this 5-volume brother. You seem to be like my age. I remember that 5-volume commentary. People carried it around. It was heavy, right?
you like
There's
the
some
hard
heavy
copy,
books
yeah?
we used to have to carry around. Okay, so
I didn't
you're not.
really carry it around, but anyway.
Well, because now it's digital. Now it's
Yeah,
digital.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
back in the
yeah.
'90s, I had the
You used to
version
carry
in
it
my.
around.
We used to carry it around, brother. So that's what I'm saying. So as an MD, I know what you're saying is not exactly accurate. You have to follow Malik Ghulam Freed, who followed
Yeah.
Second Khalifa's lead, who Mirza Tahir Ahmed was also involved in all of that. So brother, you've confused the topic here. It seems.
So I'm just intrigued, just very like weird for me. So you think that people cannot read the Quran and understand it themselves? They have to go via a channel of the elders and the scholars. They
No,
can't
not
come
elders,
so
Not
not
exactly.
elders, not elders. We are
scholars or
talking about
go on, go on. I haven't heard you for a while. You want to put your camera on? It makes it more,
hold on a
good.
second.
Yeah.
So we don't follow elders and scholars and the way you're saying it. Ibn Kathir. We look at the tafsir of Qurans in throughout history. But obviously that is wrong according to you guys, and I just think that you guys. I mean, it's really, like I said before, it's so hard to comprehend. Like why you believe in a guy called Mirza Ghulam to be a prophet. You can sit here and put hadith and Quran ayats all over the place, but like I said before, we need to look at the man himself. It's very important that you yourself have a look at personally, I think he will probably get away with it on the day of judgment because he will claim mental health problems. And I don't know if you watched the stream the other day. He definitely had some schizophrenia, hallucinations, bouts of seizures, epileptic fits. If you want, Bashir can also share those books that are written by his own son. Now, the only reason I want you to understand. You come across as a really really nice person, Khalid. Honestly, you do. And I've Qadianis normally come across quite rude.
Do they?
Um,
What?
honestly, they do. They come across
Oh,
very rude and arrogant. But Alhamdulillah, you got a good character, mashallah. So,
okay.
and
I mean, do check out all the other videos where we've been in debates. I think we've been the most polite people, and even Christians and people. I've got videos where they say we're the most polite Muslims
yes,
and most
polite.
intellectual Muslims. But anyway, go on, go on.
Don't mix polite with the truth though, because
Oh, okay. I thought
at
you
the end
said
of
we
the
were
day,
rude. I was surprised by that, but anyway.
no, but I mean, it fits your agenda. If you look at some of the debates that have happened on Adnan Rashid's channel, Razi has made a fool of himself over and
No,
over.
but was he rude? Is that what you're saying? You thought
Of
he was
course, he
rude?
was rude. Of course, he
I
was
mean,
rude.
I love people. I mean, maybe I'll send links to,
Of
and
course,
people
he
can
was rude.
decide for
You know,
themselves if
when
he
you
was rude.
associate Mirza Ghulam with our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that's not a mixture. You don't bring that into that because
Oh, is he rude just by saying that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad was a prophet?
not
Is
just
that
by
why he's
that.
rude?
His attitude. I mean, Bashir knows him much better than me. I mean, if Bashir wants to come on, but I think Bashir knows him personally. So,
Oh yeah, brother. Like I said, he accuses every Muslim that he comes into contact with of blasphemy. He calls them non-Muslims. He says he accuses Muslims of doing
Okay.
takfir on the scholars. Every single person, brother Khalid, he's got videos where he's harassing Muslims on the way to Jummah. They're trying to walk to Jummah, and he's like, no. Did Jesus die? Jesus is dead. Jesus is like, bro, what's going on? Why? If you want to talk to us, do like Khalid. Come to us, say, hey, I want to talk. Not the way he's doing it, but he's following in the footsteps of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, who would straight up talk about your mom.
Somebody,
on day one.
Okay, so somebody asked a good question, which is I think we want to go to next, which is prove from the Quran a prophet can come after Prophet Muhammad. So let's talk about that. It's on the screen here, and it says, and whoever obeys Allah and this messenger of his, as Prophet Muhammad, shall be among those who Allah has given his blessings, namely the prophets, the truthful, the martyrs, and the righteous. So if you're a good Muslim, okay, and Allah decides you can be a prophet. These are one of the things. It's in the Quran, and it's chapter 4, verse 69. So some people claim the word ma means just with. You can only stand next to the prophets and the righteous and stuff. So if you're a really good Muslim, okay, you can only stand next to these people. So if you're a really good Muslim, you can only stand next to a righteous person. It's really weird. So I had a debate. Somebody was asking me, should I debate Sheikh AK or something? I don't know who that is. Maybe I'll research them. But there was a Sheikh Muhammad at Speaker's Corner. And his response was, and you can check it. I could put a link, but you can check my channel, Sheikh Muhammad or something.
I was there that day.
Oh, you were there? Okay, it was a long time ago. But anyway, he said you just have to accept.
He didn't say
it
that.
Is as it is. What did he say?
He didn't say that.
What did he say? Go on. Do you remember? Because it's on video, it's recorded.
No.
So.
He didn't say that. If you read the verse in Arabic,
yeah,
it talks about future. It doesn't talk about past tense. It doesn't talk about it's going to happen now. It's going to happen then. Then is in Jannah. This talking about Jannah.
So the future doesn't count
Like,
where we
this
are.
is talking about Jannah. It's talking about paradise.
Okay. Interesting. How do you know that?
ومن يطيع الله ورسوله فأولئك مع الذين أنعم الله عليهم من النبيين والصادقين والشهداء والصالحين. That's talking about a time, a different place, not on this earth.
Oh, I can't see that. But anyway, your claim. That's fine.
Brother Khalid, there's a hadith in Sahih Bukhari about this, which is the next thing you should go to. Have you ever seen it in your life?
Yeah, I've heard it. They claim so.
Wait, but no, you said you've never seen the hadith. You've heard about it.
No, I've been told about it. But I don't think the hadith contradicts it. No, I don't know. You can pull it up if you like.
Oh, can I share the screen?
Yeah. So I'll quickly while you're looking for it, I'll quickly explain further, just in case.
Brother, I already have it.
Fantastic. Give me 1 minute, and then you can show whatever you want, because we want both sides of the argument. So people claim that ma'a only means with. So you can only stand next to all these people. So that's quite insulting to religion of Islam, that you can only stand next to. I think you can also stand next to it, because ma'a means you can be among and with. And you can, for those people who are not sure and who are not Arabic scholars and things like that, you can easily, and I'll have this this document linked in the pinned comment so people can check for themselves. There's another verse of the Quran that also uses that word ma'a, which is chapter 4, verse 146. Okay, and it said, except those who repent and amend and hold fast to Allah and are sincere in their obedience to Allah, these are among the believers. So if you stick to the idea or the belief that ma'a only means with, so all these people who repent and amend and hold fast to Allah and sincere in their obedience to Allah, they can only, after making a mistake, they can only be next to the believers. So it doesn't really make sense. Go for it. What did you want to say, Bashir? Go for it.
Yeah. So.
Oh, you want to share the screen or something?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Wait. before we do that, remember,
yeah.
remember I was asking you to quote Mirza Ghulam Ahmad.
Yeah, it's your chance to go for it if you like.
So, did Mirza Ghulam Ahmad ever use this verse as an argument for his prophethood?
I don't know. You might have to educate me. Go for it.
Brother.
So I've stopped sharing. You can share your screen and
so really quick,
share whatever you want.
When did Mirza Ghulam Ahmad claim prophethood? Do you know?
I can't remember. 1894 was it?
Did you say 1894, brother? Brother, if you don't know when Mirza Ghulam Ahmad claimed prophethood, why are we here?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay,
well, we hear that if he was a prophet, if he was this year or that year, it's not really a big difference either way.
It's of utmost importance. Remember, he denied
Really?
prophethood. He denied.
I mean, if so many miracles have happened in his name, so one year or the other year, kind of for me, it's a logical thing. It kind of doesn't seem to be relevant, but it might be relevant to you.
So let's be clear. You don't know if Mirza Ghulam Ahmad ever used this verse as an argument for his prophethood. You don't.
No, I don't. I'm clear about that. I don't know.
Okay. And you also don't know when Mirza Ghulam.
I don't know everything about everything is true. Go on.
Okay, well, brother, I don't know. I made a blog and I've been studying for 15.
That's great. That's good.
Okay,
I'm glad you're here. So you research so well, so that you can give a good counter argument. Hopefully.
Yeah. So remember, the Lahore Ahmadis brought this up. I went and read and verified. They said Mirza Ghulam Ahmad never even used this verse as an argument for his prophethood. In fact, he used it as a metaphoric prophet.
Thanks, Simon. Thank you.
He said, if this verse can only help you be like the prophets, he never said it'll make you a prophet, right? So that's A. Okay, after Mirza Ghulam Ahmad died, then it was started to be used. Okay, then you've never seen the hadiths, brother. I don't know to cry or what. I want to cry that you've never seen the hadiths.
Sure, and so you don't believe in using logic. I gave some logic. What you're essentially saying is Muslims can't be righteous according to your logic if you're going to be next to these people. Do you understand the logical?
We can go back to that. Hold that thought.
Oh, sure. I'll hold the thought. Go for it. Yeah.
Can you see my screen? Can you see the?
Oh yes. It's turned up. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, is this a Sahih hadith per Ahmadiyya?
I don't know. I'll check it up afterwards. Make your claims or whatever.
Brother Khalid, unfortunately, Ahmadiyya movement doesn't even go through hadith to give us their feedback. I've been asking the Ahmadiyya Jamaat to give me commentary on this hadith for over 15 years. They
read it, and then I might give you commentary right now.
Okay. So, Sahih Hadith, Sahih Muslim, I'm sorry, book 31, Hadith 5988. I don't know when I wrote this. Numbers could be off. Hazrat Aisha, radhiyallahu anha, reported, I heard that a prophet never dies until he's given the option to opt the life of this world or the hereafter. She further said, I heard Allah's messenger say in his last illness in which he died, I heard him saying in his gruffness of the voice, along with those persons upon Allah who has favored.
I've read this. Yeah.
Among the messengers. So if you ever quote this verse and you don't show this hadith, brother, that's wrong. That's just wrong.
Explain for everybody who can't, I can see the point you're making, but I'm not sure if it's a very good point.
He opted to live with these people. Okay, so again, it proves what Brother Amr said. This verse is about the afterlife, and you can't be in the company of the prophets in this life, brother. It's a unique thing. It's a unique club. We can't be in it. I don't even care to be in it. I don't want to be a prophet. I'm not a prophet. I don't want to try. So this hadith proves that this verse it's sahih. So you take this hadith with the verse of the Quran and then you figure out what it means. But Ahmadis have refused to do it for over.
I could give you the commentary. You've been waiting all your life. I'll give you the commentary right now.
but again,
are you ready for an answer? Well, I've already explained it. But anyway,
so again, brother, we don't need your opinion. You're not any. You don't have any jurisdiction.
Yeah, I'm not important.
Have an opinion.
I have to meet God, right? And this is my understanding. This is
brother.
So you don't like it, but as I'll explain for everybody else, is just because you might
just really quick.
Because I'm here to give my opinions.
We want you to quote your Maulvi, Malik Ghulam Farid, in 1988 when he wrote what he wrote. Are you capable of doing that?
Actually, I probably could, but it'd be a bit. So, if you're talking about he wrote the 5-volume commentary and it's in the 5-volume commentary, what I'm about to say is effectively in the 5-volume commentary. Maybe I'll give a link to that for everybody's benefit. You know, it's a very useful commentary on the Holy
Brother,
Quran.
can I pull it up? Can I pull it up?
Yeah,
When you pull it up,
sure.
it's your own thing, and I haven't even.
Yeah. I'm not like I just kind of like.
Did you see it?
I just explain and let's move on. Yeah.
And 541.
Yeah. So let me see. So 5. So which verse are we talking about? We are talking about
70 in the Qadianis.
chapter 4. Yes, you're right. Chapter 4, verse 70. Yeah. It's quite long explanation. That's why it's kind of like, or rather, just paraphrase.
So did this is where
people.
Right. This is where Malik Ghulam Free.
Have you got the going on?
Malik Ghulam Free tells the world that Muslims can become prophets. Brother, that is incorrect. Did you know Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said even a conjur can be a prophet? He said even a person.
I don't know. You can make all sorts of claims. I mean, I remember I was watching you when you turned up on the stream with Adnan, and you claimed that in Brahina Ahmadiyya, in that particular book, that he claimed he was a prophet, and Adnan corrected you. So I'm not sure if you're really an expert in these things. Because he corrected you, and he's not even an Ahmadi Muslim. So he said you clearly didn't know. You didn't read the book according to even him.
Brother. Have you read Ek Galti Ka Azala?
No, I haven't. No, I don't. Oh my God, he's about to leave. No. You know what you should do? Should I recommend? Spin on your seat. Come on, entertain. Spin on your seat. Go on. Come on, man. Spin. Come on, entertain us a little bit.
Brother Harvey, in Ek Galti Ka Azala.
I thought you brought this up to read it, or you just put it like a nice background.
Well, because okay, so let me stop this here. But so, brother,
you don't want to read it. Why did you put it up in the first place? I'm confused.
Just because that's where you're getting your information from.
Yeah. I've read that. Yeah.
Well, so remember, it's always important to quote. So remember, brother, I'm an academic, brother. I'm a gangster too. But I'm also an academic. So I show it that way. So anyhow, back to the story. Ek Galti Ka Azala was written in 1901. You don't know? It's okay. In that book, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad says he was a prophet since Brahini Ahmadiyya. And he says he misunderstood the whole time. But he says, look at these revelations I was getting. These prove that I was a prophet since 1884. You see what I mean? Now, you didn't know that. Look, maybe other people.
And maybe you're making this up. Who knows?
Brother, can I pull up Ek Galti Ka Azala?
No, it'd be very boring. We should talk about the man
responsible the book of your
for religious. No, it'd be very boring because, as we've already said, like there are some fundamentals of how you decide who, whether Muslim or not. That's the main topic, not the character of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, which we've already talked about in the beginning, and we're kind of going round and round in circles. So that's why it would be boring. I already said that's not a particularly good argument, especially if I have doubts about if you're putting things in context, or we're going to take forever to go through all the references. Okay, so and that's why I wanted to keep it really simple, because I like in my shows to keep things simple and logical, and I do believe in logic. I think we should independently be able to use logic, just like when we're in Speaker's Corner. If we're talking to Christians, we've got I don't know why I clicked on this, but Ty is a Christian friend of mine. If I'm debating him and he says, no, I can't use my own logic, okay, we have to refer to priest X or priest Y, that wouldn't be very good. I'll say, wow, your book is not understandable to the average person. So the Quran should be understandable enough for you to decide, who's a Muslim, who's not, and all this.
Brother Hazard, real quick. So the Christians don't have commentaries on their Bible. If you go back 1,000 years, there are no commentaries, right?
Oh,
none.
1,000 years. Okay. Guess your claim.
You go back 700 years. I mean, I don't think they even write commentary now. There's no
I'm sure they do. My Christian friends, can you correct them? That would be very weird if there was no commentaries or discussions.
So 1,000 years ago, there ain't no commentaries, right? For the Bible. But we have Tafsiri Tabari. Have you heard of the famous Tafsir of Tabari?
I've heard of it. I don't know much about it.
So
Yeah,
so so
this is
remember,
my wife. She's
Buddhists,
joining in.
Hindus, no other religious group of people have a commentary on their religion from 1,000 years ago. Nobody, nobody. So we go and look at those and see, what did they say? What did they say about chapter 4, verse 69? Does it match what the Ahmadis say? And it doesn't. Then we go, okay, well, let's go check Jalaluddin Suyuti. He's another famous tafsir. He doesn't agree either. Okay, let's go to Tafsir Ibn Kathir. Okay, so let's go. So anyways, brother, it's your program. I don't want to go going in different directions.
Sure.
You have the floor.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah. So I appreciate you not going on too much, but you made your point, and my comeback, as it were, is, we're quite happy with Hazrat Abu Bakr's judgment on these things. Like, for example, Jesus had died. So and we might as well end. We don't want to make this go forever. We might as well end, if we're going to stick with verses of the Quran, about Khatamun Nabiyyin. It's I think people might be wondering, there's this verse of the Khatamun Nabiyyin. It means that, Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet. That's what the verse that everybody goes to. So let's just have a quick look at that. It makes sense to look at it. 3340. Maybe I'll open it up in Quran.com. Let's see if we can do that. 3340. Let's go here. Click the 3340. There we go. All right. And before we start wrapping up and people get bored or whatever it is, I like to say I'm not here for just purely academic debates. Most of my videos are about how do we make a difference to people's lives. And the reason why I'm having this discussion every now and then, I talk to Muslims, is that I want people to follow Islam in a logical way. So I've demonstrated a lot of Muslims are not happy or interested in using their own logic when they come to the Quran. It's very important that we use our own logic and think logically to come to conclusions. And so hopefully if we do, I think the Quran got so many truths that we can benefit from. I think a lot of Muslims are not following those basic teachings of Islam. That's why there's so much violence and so much turmoil and so much corruption in the Muslim world. But anyway, so this is a verse of the Quran that says, Muhammad is not the father of any of your men, but he is the messenger of Allah and the seal of the prophets, and Allah has perfect knowledge of all things. So let's look at this verse of the Quran. We have to look at it logically, or if you're willing to look at it logically. It starts off by saying, I should say, to make it really quick, I had a Christian who's, from Lebanon, my next door country. He's still a good friend of mine. He just turned up to one of my videos and I mentioned the word khatam and he said, I know what khatam is, because he knows Arabic, and he showed me his ring. Okay, and it was a ring, okay, it's basically a signet ring. So that's what it really means. If Allah wanted to write, last prophet, he would have said akhir, which means last. But anyway, but more comprehensive or longer explanation, a logical explanation. If you look at the first part of the Quran, this verse, it says, Muhammad is not the father of any of your men. So if people know a bit of history of or the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him, he didn't have any grown-up men. Rajul means, grown-up men beyond like childhood. Okay, and why is that? And often Prophet Muhammad would be insulted because of that, because he didn't have anybody to continue his name. So the Quran starts off with this insult that the enemies of Prophet Muhammad gave. And so what's the response? Okay, so let me just but the walakin, right? So is this saying it? But, okay. On the contrary, what's the response to this insult to Prophet Muhammad, that he has no progeny, nobody to continue his name? Okay, how is he is a messenger of Allah and the seal of the prophets? How is that a response? Would anybody like to explain to me before I explain? I'm intrigued. Anybody got an idea? Anybody still there?
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Because you sort of went long. Can you
Sorry.
say your question again? Bro?
So, I'm sure you know this verse of the Quran that talks about Khatam al-Nabiyyin. The beginning of the verse talks about Prophet Muhammad not having any male progeny. So what's the relevance of male progeny? Hopefully you agree. If somebody continues the name, right? So then it says, but, okay. And then the response by God on behalf of Prophet Muhammad, I believe, right? Okay, is that Prophet Muhammad is a messenger of Allah and he's a seal of the prophets. How is that a response for you? Because I can explain why it is, but why do you think that is a response to that?
And I'm surprised you're asking me. You don't know the answer.
I know the answer, but I'm a teacher. I'm a school teacher. So I often like to engage people to see if they're like following and understand, or if they've even got an idea. So if I'm just talking, people won't necessarily understand because they might lose track. So I ask you, do you have any idea how it is a response to the fact that Prophet Muhammad doesn't have any male heirs? Heirs as progeny, somebody continues name. How is it a response that he is a messenger of Allah and a seal of the prophets? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, let me explain. So very quickly, this verse proves that no prophets will be born ever again. Okay? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had the DNA of the prophets. There's a DNA. All prophets are related. Okay? Every single one of them is related to each other. There's a DNA thing going on here. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't have any children that made it to adulthood, to puberty.
No male children.
No, he had male children, but they died in infancy.
Yeah. So you said didn't have any children. Obviously, he had daughters, but yeah, go on.
Well, yeah. He didn't have any male children that made it to puberty. Okay, that means the DNA is dying with him. You see what I mean? And so like Mirza Ghulam Ahmad didn't address this, and I've been saying this properly so Ahmadis understand. What this verse and all the hadiths, La Nabi Abadi, mean is that no prophet can be born ever again. Okay, because prophets are born. This is not an achievement. This is not.
So you're talking about hadith, but I'm talking about this verse. You said
because
go on. I don't want to interrupt.
Right. Why would you just use a verse by itself when there's so many hadith? You bring it all together. You bring it all. In college, I'm an academic. I teach graduate level and doctorate level adults. Not normally children, right? So the crux of the matter is you bring all the relevant information. You don't just pick and choose what you want. You bring it all. So with all the hadiths, and this verse means that another prophet will not be born in the ummah ever again. Again, the exceptions are not all listed. Right? The exception is Isa alayhi salam is going to return, but he was born before. Now, a few years after this verse was revealed, do you know when this verse was revealed?
No, I don't know when it was revealed. No.
Okay, I'm gonna throw you a bone. Before Medina or after Medina?
I would guess. I'm trying to work out. Maybe after Medina, because
and let me say it better, after Hijri.
yeah.
After Hijri. It was after Hijri. So did Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam know that he was the last prophet? And I'll tell you when. It's the 5th or the 7th year after Hijri. It's in that era. No one knows exactly the date, but it's in that era, right? I find it strange though that you didn't know the context of this entire chapter and you're quoting the verse. But it's okay.
I'm just applying logic, but carry on.
Right. So that's what this verse meant. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad in 1891 claimed to be the Messiah, and he said he's not a prophet. He said anyone who claims to be a prophet is a kafir.
Are we talking about this verse? I feel like you're talking about something else.
Well, because I'm telling you what Mirza Ghulam, what your prophet wrote.
Oh, okay, carry on.
Your prophet said this verse means nobody can come, and he said anyone who claims it is a liar and a kadab, right? He said anyone who claims prophethood is wajibul qatl. Brother, I got the quotes. So he says all that. Your second Khalifa says in 1915, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad found a new definition of prophethood which didn't exist in the Quran or Hadith. That's what happened. In 1901, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad invented a new kind of prophethood that no one's ever been in this category. Hazrat Harun alayhi salam was not an independent prophet. No, he was an independent prophet, right? So he's not in this category. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad is claiming to be a non-independent prophet. He's saying he only became a prophet because of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Astaghfirullah, as if Muhammad can make other people prophets. And that's not true. It's not up to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's up to Allah, right? So Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said the same thing that he said the Messiah was a non-prophet. All of a sudden in 1901, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad says he's the second coming of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Astaghfirullah. And your guy Tahir Nasser recently said on that stream, any subsequent prophets are also the second coming of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, brother, what happened here? You guys are giving this verse the definition that anyone can become Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Astaghfirullah. And any prophet that comes will be him. So there it is.
Yeah, so Tariq with a big Q made a valid point that if Jesus is still alive, then the DNA does continue. This is a very new idea, the DNA thing. But anyway, let me explain what I understand from this verse of the Quran. People can agree or disagree, see if it makes more sense than, I don't know what really Ahmadi fact checker Bashir was saying, really, about DNA being in the past. I don't think it's a particularly good response to this insult to Prophet Muhammad. So Prophet Muhammad is being told by his enemies in the first part.
Sorry, you keep saying.
I'm talking now, and then you can talk. Let's just turn.
Yeah, but don't say insult because that's not an insult.
No, I'm talking and then you talk. It's just turns. We're taking
turns over the Quran. It's not an insult.
We're taking turns. Okay, so Muhammad is not the father of any of your men. Okay, so we already explained why that's considered an insult. Okay, but on the contrary, he is a messenger of Allah. So how is that a response? A messenger of Allah, instead of having physical children who might be good or bad, if physical progeny could be good or bad, these are messengers of Allah, have spiritual children. Okay, and spiritual children are by definition, they're good. They're not particularly spiritual children if they're bad. If they're bad Muslims, they're not really spiritual children. And then even better than that, he is a seal of the Prophet. Okay, so he is the one who basically defined what is a prophet. Seal, signet ring means somebody who gives their impression, who is like a signatory in modern day terms. Yeah. So all prophets, past and present, past and future, I should say. Okay, even the previous prophets have been approved by Prophet Muhammad, because if they basically, as far as I understand, many all sorts of, let's say, myths have been spread around them, like, Jesus, his mother, for example, Jesus was illegitimate, and all these other claims, and the Quran supports and backs them up. So he basically this is my understanding, he gives the truth behind all these past prophets, and any future prophets, like Bashir was talking about, must be under him. They must have his stamp of approval. That's what Khatam means. As our Christian friend who's, let's say, non-partisan, he's not on one side or the other. He said that's what it means. Akhir is the word for last. Okay, so Bashir was saying, how can you possibly have a prophet who's under another prophet? That's been the case so many times. Under Moses, there were so many people who followed the Mosaic law. It's very simple. It's not a new idea at all. So many examples of that. Jesus was one of those examples. He said he didn't come to bring a new law. He just came to fulfill the law. So that's no problem to have prophets that come under the Sharia or the law of another prophet. So in short, just to summarize, the beginning part of the verse is, Muhammad is not the father of any of your men. Sure, we don't have physical progeny, but even better than that, you have spiritual progeny, and even spiritual progeny to the level of prophets. And I think that's a pretty good comeback by Allah to these enemies of Prophet Muhammad. And people can watch and decide what they want. So seal certainly doesn't mean last, clearly not even translated as last here. And just to kind of backed up it even more, the places where there are some hadiths, because we're getting to the end. I'll try to summarize kind of the argument here. There are hadiths that says Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet, and in the same hadith, and I'll put it in the links, and he says my mosque is the last mosque. So does it mean literally the last? I don't think so. And because I'm a movie fan, okay, has anybody watched The Last Samurai? Come on, anybody big fan of Tom Cruise here? No. No, Armor, you've never watched this Last Samurai?
Brother.
Come on, this is my last thing. You can entertain me here. Entertain me. Have you watched The Last Samurai?
Yes, I've seen it, but I think it's very important. I need to get my point across.
Yeah, you're going to, because I'm about to finish my point. So you watched it, right? Okay, The Last Samurai was the last samurai to live. It wasn't the last samurai to be born. This weird definition that Sunni Muslims use for the last prophet. It's not, Jesus is not the last prophet because he wasn't the last prophet to be born, okay? The last in English normally means, the last one to be alive. Now, if you're talking about what Prophet Muhammad was saying, you have to think about it logically. If you're saying he was the last prophet and his mosque was the last mosque, it's a bit like saying the high court. When you have a high court, it doesn't mean a court that is on a hill. It's the highest position. So last, akhir, you often say in Arabic, they have all sorts of different ways of expressing themselves. They say khalas all the time when they want to finish. That means let's end the argument. The last in that sense means to be the greatest, even in English and Shakespearean English, the last word means the highest status, or the strongest argument. We don't use that so much anymore, but it's not hard to understand if you look at that particular hadith. But I don't want to go into hadith too much because I'm talking about the Quran. Go for it, Amir. What do you want to say?
Yes. Sorry, I just wanted to say that you said it about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
This is an insult to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Can you provide any proof that this is an insult?
It's just I call it common sense that you say that it's not a good thing.
So if I was to say, my sister can't have children or my brother can't have children, is that an insult?
It can be if you think about your sister won't be happy about it, would they?
So what you're saying
as I understand,
so you're saying Allah is insulting Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Is that what you're saying?
No, he's producing a comeback from the enemies who would say that about him. Anyway, carry on.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. The ayah is just it's just very clear what it says. You seem to mixed it all up to make it fit your narrative, and that's fine. But I can't see anywhere in there where it's mentioned that another prophet's going to come, especially Mirza Ghulam. I mean, and I keep saying this. Do you want to talk about his character?
No. And I mean, the great thing is that my battery's dying. And I can't plug it in because I'm using it for this massive light that's making me. So we're going to have to wind up the conversation. So you say your last point. I love giving my guests the last, arguments, whatever. So Amr, say whatever you want. And then we're going to have the big man, Bashir, also say his last argument. And then we'll end it there.
Yeah, I think this is to the audience that's watching, anybody else that watches this video in the future. If you're interested in Islam or you want to learn about Islam, go to go to the authentic scholars that have translated the Quran in a way that's understandable to people. This same ayat that you just put up, no way does it say that there's going to be another prophet and it's an insult to him, etc., etc. Khalid, it was really nice today talking to you. Thank you very much for having us on here, and thank you very much for the respect. And inshallah, if we can, it would be a really good idea if we could do our next session on a choice that I choose. Is that okay with you?
Well, we'll discuss it. Sometimes, for me, for my channel, I might find a topic too boring, but we can talk about it. Yeah.
Would you be
Anyway?
prepared to come on Bashir's channel?
Yeah, we'll come. I'll do it. Yeah.
So if we call the next topic the character of Mirza Ghulam, would you be happy to attend that one?
Yeah, I'll do it. Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You seem like a man of your word, so inshallah, I'll hand you over to Bashir. Thank you very much. And apologies if I've been rude to you or said anything.
I think
It was
you're
not my
great. You're
intention.
right. Yeah.
So inshallah, we will speak again. So thank you very much, Khalid.
I appreciate your time, man. I appreciate it.
Bro. Thank you, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, and brother Khalid, I echo his sentiments. You're an amazing guy. We really appreciate the adab. But I wanted to mention one thing. You said something that kind of hurt me. You said Muslims are doing or whatever. Uh oh. Is it just me? Okay. Let's see if he comes back. It might be gone online too.
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Okay.
You can carry on talking if you like.
Okay. Well, I kind of want him to come back.
Go back.
So we can talk in the meantime. But as you saw, brother, he doesn't really know much about Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, and he's just reading off of what he's been told. If they say this, you say that. You know what I mean? If this happens, you go do this. It's almost like I used to work on airplanes, and there was a troubleshooting manual. If this light comes on, go check this. And if this happens, then go do that. It wasn't any type of, hey, think for yourself. What does this mean? Now, obviously, he follows what his Molvis say, what his Molvis wrote, but I don't think he really wants to show that. I don't think any of the Ahmadis want to show that. And it's our stream now, brother. We've taken, ladies and gentlemen, I've taken over this guy's stream. I just hacked the whole thing. No. But brother, he said something that sort of really hurt me. He presented Muslims as lost and violent or something. Brother, we are victims of global colonialism. We are not bad. That's like saying the Native Americans are bad. That's like saying the Africans are bad. That's like saying the people who just got killed, we killed 100 million of them, they're bad. No. Can't really say that, right? So, and all Ahmadis have that impression, brother. The British wanted Muslims to help in World War I, we helped. The British wanted Muslims to help in World War II, we helped. The U.S. government wanted Muslims in Afghanistan to fight the Russians off. We did it for them. And then we got blamed for everything. Okay. Muslims have been so cooperative over the years. We've tried, but when you keep being trampled on, what's happening in Palestine is all over the Suez Canal. If it wasn't for the Suez Canal, the U.S. government wouldn't care. The Brits and the French wouldn't care. But in Israel, there's enough weaponry that if anyone plays with that Suez Canal, within seconds, there's a response. So math majors like Khalid, they don't really do this global politics investigation, especially when you're teaching kids. Math to kids is like pretty easy. So that was weird, brother. He doesn't see us as victims. He sees us as whatever. But yeah. So then still the DNA. So look, he said no. When Isa alayhi salam returns, the DNA of the prophets continues, right? But Hazrat Isa alayhi salam will not have any kids that make it to prophet. That's just not going to happen. So they can come up with excuses. And brother, this guy watches Tom Cruise movies. Does he know that Tom Cruise is a Scientologist? I don't really understand, brother. since 7, 10 years ago. I don't watch movies or go to the movies anymore. I'm not even interested in. I think Barbie came out, brother. This is nonsense, brother. All of it is nonsense, brother. Same thing with music, and music's a little harder to quit, but it's all nonsense, brother. No one should be even. I mean, okay, it's a small sin and Allah will forgive you. That's the thing about it, the beauty of Islam. And I'll tell you, when I was a Qadiani, I never heard this, but when you go into the masjid on Jummah, they tell you, hey, say this dua and all your sins from last year are gone. Right?
He's messaging me saying that his battery's died, and I don't think he realizes we're still on here.
It's still going. Well, hey, this is the takeover. This is the takeover. So now it's my stream. No, I'm just joking. But
Yeah, just to finish off, Bashir, I think if we just wrap up now, and also people that are watching, just say to them to invite them to your channel, read your blogs, because you've done a lot of hard work there. Very, 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 very. It's a lot, very inclusive work. So it's worth a read. I read it. Also, if we can arrange a time with Khalid as well, we call the next debate the character of Mirza. And obviously it will be done in a nice, polite way. We're not out to hurt anybody. We don't want to make enemies, or we're not to hate people. At the end of the day, we just feel like you guys really need to learn what your cult is all about, because I don't think many people know exactly what's going on. Sorry, sorry, Bashir, carry on.
No, and with that, let's leave the studio. What do you think? All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Islam.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you.
Guys, it looks like it's pretty well lit just from the screen. I didn't need my big light, so next time I've got enough socket. Sorry about ending so abruptly. I'm going to end the stream properly with the end broadcast. Thank you, everybody, for watching, if you're still here somehow.